Okay then, hello everybody, and welcome to the UK Zoom call under control. I am here with Peter and Gwen. Gwen, once again, is seated in the naughty chair, not having anything to share, but she is in close enough proximity so she can hear. And I believe Pierce is with us too. And so with that, I shall pass the mic over to Peter, and he will commence.
Hello everybody, I'll try and speak more slowly as requested. Right, first I've got 2 or 3 rather short dreams as usual, and rather boring ones no doubt to most people, but there we are. Right, the first one, yet again I'm on a bus. This time I think it might have been just a single decker. At any rate I was at street level. So it doesn't really matter, I suppose, at the point is that all the windows on the bus were very dirty, so dirty I couldn't see through them, except for the one I was sitting next to, which seemed odd. And oddly, on this bus, which is rather unusual, the windows did actually open. You could slide them down, like on the old train windows that we used to have. So for some reason, I decided, although my window was perfectly clear and I could see through it, unlike all the others, something made me open it, slide it down, and then I closed it again. And when I closed it, it was as filthy dirty as all the others, and I couldn't see anything. That was basically the end of that one. Perhaps Dwayne might care to give his thoughts on it, please.
Yes, hello Peter. Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for showing up. Yeah, that's a little easier. You can speak loud, just a little bit slower. It helps us because it's hard for me too. But yes, it's very simple. It's a double-decker bus. Was this one of those where the bus on top is open?
To be honest, I don't know. I assumed it was a single decker actually, because I could only see the. I mean, I was sitting on the bottom deck anyway, so I don't know whether there was a deck above me or not. It could have been a double.
I thought you said it was a double decker. But anyhow, I saw one of those buses here again yesterday. Once in a while, I see them where the top is open, and we're looking to do something like that. But anyhow, it's very simple. It's in the physical, and you're being driven around, of course, and you can see what's going on where everybody else, they can't. It's just very, very simple. So these little steps in their own way are important because it gets your attention. All right, these real side experiences get your attention, good, bad, or indifferent. I see it with myself, and it seems like, oh, it's really nothing at all. And really, it's really a mock-up, but it helps because, again, it should get you to really focus on your real awareness and figure out your intent. But it's giving you a hint. You're able to see where others aren't. You're able to open the window, etc. You see, and by the very fact you can open the window, you can jump out of the bus. See, so now all of a sudden you realize that and recognize it. So the next time you're on the bus, you don't have to go the way everybody else is going. See, that's kind of the social consciousness, and you're kind of going the way they are, but at the same time, you can jump out. You see things that they can't. And it's okay to go with the social consciousness because we're here. It's just all part of it, but you're learning to see. And eventually, it's kind of like a bird in a nest to where, it sits in the nest, sits there for the longest time, looks out, like the eagles and whatever, and they're big, but at a certain point, all of a sudden they fly. They leave the nest and they don't come back. They go do their own thing. They go make their own nests and on and on. And this is our experience. But it's very simple. It's on the physical level and it's the personal self. But this gives you, again, another objective view. Go ahead.
Okay, right. Thanks for that. Second dream. This time I was in a house. And I presume it's my house, but I didn't recognise it, but as such. But I gathered it was about 6 a.m. in the morning, and the doorbell rang, although very half-heartedly for some reason. It said half dead, but there we are. I went to the door, still in my pyjamas, and and guess what? Greeted by an old lady. Yeah, another old lady dream. And this time she was asking. She appeared to be a neighbour. I didn't know her, but she said she was a neighbour from up the road. And could I come and help her small grandson? She didn't say what the problem was, but I agreed to do so. So I turned away to go and get some clothes on, and that's where it finished. Rather abrupt ending, but over to you, please, Dwayne.
Well, you seem to have a lot of relatives everywhere, don't you? Kevin probably knows what this one is. He sees these things. You know, Kevin, you objectively see what your family's going through. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Are you there, Kevin?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. You have you went over these things with Peter, his experiences?
Well, he has a tendency not to share most of them until this very Skype session.
Yes. Okay.
Time to
Oh, because see, you're the doctor, and nobody wants to go see the doctor. Okay. And so I know the idea. It's kind of funny. And so we all have these things, but yes. Basically what I see is that, and it can go many ways, is that it's 6 a.m., it's early, it's time to get up, it's a wake-up call, and all of a sudden this old lady comes to the door and she wants you to help her grandson. Okay, so that's a story, isn't it? All right, that's just a story. It could be one of the boys wanting to see if you'll get out of the house, you see? It's something to get you out of the house. Will you do it? Will you go help them? Will you get, by the very fact that you say yes, that gets you into a new experience, doesn't it? All of a sudden you go over there, you help them, whatever. That's not the idea. The idea is to get you out of the house. This is how the boys prompt you to get out of your personal self. Do you see that, Peter?
All right, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, they mock up the scene is what they do, so it looks just like normal. It looks like a normal little scene. Everybody has different experiences. So again, when you look at this, have fun, learning how this works, because it's all about your awareness. It is all about you. And it's not so much the characters and whatever, those are just mock-ups. It helps you to identify with yourself, and also to identify, how you've settled into this personal self and your relationship with this personal self. Because we created this personal self, all right? This is real. There was no personal self until you created it. The God idea and all this stuff like this, that's a scam. In other words, they created that to make you think that, so that they can control you with this God idea, or some authority created you. That's nonsense. You create everything. You create every thought, idea, decision, whatever. And the boys are just mocking something. A cute old lady. Okay, again, trying to get you out of that personal self, because we become so self-convinced and so comfortable with our ideas. Take the time to look at every idea that you think and see and whatever, and how objective you can be with it, because these are the same ideas you've carried for lifetimes, and they've kept you right where you are. Do you want to see more and be more and not restricted? Well, just these little scenes start to open you up, get you out of that personal self. Learn to go outside and look back at this personal self. I do this with myself all the time, and I don't really like what I see. The thing being is that because this personal self is what it is a self-convinced thing, and that's okay, but you learn to be objective about it. So again, they're just trying to get you out of that personal self, but you decide how that's going to be. And you decide your intent and your purpose, or real purpose. You see, all those things. So they're constantly giving you the hints. But to a certain point, as you grow older, now I know it's harder. You become fossilized. You become very fossilized and very comfortable with that personal self. and you don't feel like exploring. You don't feel like seeing more. You just feel like staying the same, you know, reading the newspaper, watching the TV, you know, taking little walks with the dog or something, you know, this same routine all the time. No more risks, no more anything, and just, you know, a little chatter with your neighbors, etc. See, it's all confines itself to that personal self. That's all it is. But you decide. So there's an idea of that. Go ahead.
Right, okay. Well, with a name like Smith, we've got relatives everywhere. So, anyway, moving on. The third dream actually concerned, for once, being outdoors. In fact, in a wooded area. It seems a very dead wooded area. Of trees rather sparsely placed, and everything was brown and dead. The ground was all covered in dead old dry leaves, and there was no grass that was green or anything. The whole thing had an air about it of sort of decay, and there was a growing feeling of menace as I was sort of standing there looking at all this lot. Something made me feel a bit uneasy, so I decided to climb up one of the trees. They weren't very big trees. I think the thickest one was only about 9 or 12 inches thick, the trunk. Anyway, I climbed up one of the trees at great risk because the branches seemed very prone to cracking and possibly breaking, being obviously dead. And when I was up this tree, I suddenly saw somebody I recognised. Actually, another old lady, but this is a real one I know in life. She's actually the mother of the girl who works for me, or woman who works for me. And she was down below, and I shouted down to her something to the effect, "Be careful, because it's dangerous around here." And something made me snap off one of the branches and sort of drop it down to her so she could use it to defend herself if something attacked her. I don't think it'd been very effective, but there we are. I was just wondering what was going to happen next, and then that's when it sort of ended.
Yes, of course it ended. Yes, that's a suspect dream, isn't it? So, you know, there's kind of an old saying, I can't remember how it goes, but it's something about being up a tree. Do you guys have something like that there? It's kind of a funny thing. In other words, when a person is a little funny or odd, they're like up a tree. You know, there's a kind of a saying like that. And so I would say in the experience, what you're seeing is the earth today. And yes, there's in the air, there's this impending danger because the whole place is dangerous. Do you see that? See, it's showing you this, but now look at your personal self in your life, right where you are right now, where you're sitting right there. You're not considering that, are you? Everything's like fine. You're with your family, you're talking on the Skype, everything's fine. Look at your attitude and your comfort zone with your personal self. And now compare it to this experience. Is there a difference?
Yeah, I mean,
do you see the difference?
oh yeah, I see what you're saying about. I mean, obviously,
See, your personal self is like most people. Look at everybody around you. Look at the world. Most of it, they're all okay with everything, aren't they? We're in the atomic age. Everything is poison. We're going to get 5G. You've got HARP. You've got just everything is bad, and yet people are thinking that they're walking around like it's okay. Wouldn't it make sense that it's like all of a sudden people start talking to each other, hey, it's not okay here. We got to do something. But you don't see people doing that, do you? No, you see them protesting, they're politicians, demonstrating, all this stuff and whatever. They're still looking to the authorities to do something for them. So your experience there, yes, and you're thinking that, oh, if I climb up a tree, I'll be okay. No, see, that's a funny story. Okay, so you're the guy up the tree. And this is the personal self looking for some place to hide. There's no place to hide. You're seeing the earth as it really is from the real side. And it's coming more and more and more. We put up a picture the other day, since I've known Ava, because she lives in the forest lands of Bad Hartsburg. that picture we just put up a day or so ago about pay attention to your planet Earth. Well, the forests are dying all around her because of the chemtrails. Everything is dying. And most of the forest, the Amazon and whatever, is being cut down. This is just an example. The Earth is dying at a rapid rate. And who is paying attention? You know, you're in a big schoolhouse here, and you need this to wake up, and you only have so much time. This is very real. So again, you decide to take the time to compare the two, and this should motivate you to better see your intent, your real awareness, to figure it out, because if not, then you get sucked back like the other lifetimes, and it takes a lot to do this because life is big. Do you see the difference between the two? You decide.
Right, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. Yeah, we do have the expression up a tree. It generally means you're sort of in a bit of a mess, or sort of up the creek kind of thing without a paddle. But okay, can I just ask you one on behalf of somebody else, actually, because somebody asked me about a dream they had, quite a short one, the other day. This person actually asked me one before, which I put to you, you probably won't recall, but a client of mine who previously said about finding herself in an open grave next to her son. That was a while back, but this is a different one she's had. And asked me what it meant, so I thought I'd put it to you if you don't mind. She wants to buy a house, and she dreamt that she was in a solicitor's office as a lawyer. You call them lawyers, don't you? I think in America. Office, and her mother was with her, a sort of elderly mother, not old lady, her elderly mother. I've never met her, by the way. And she was writing out a check to help. She said, "You want to help her?" And she was writing out a check, and the client thought it was going to be for £2,000, but when she saw it, she was staggered to see it was for actually £20,000, and that was really basically it. But she wondered what the meaning of the dream was.
Okay, so the idea was, let me get this straight because I couldn't hear everything. So the idea was that this lady, this friend, she wants to buy a house.
That's right, yeah, she wanted to put a deposit on a house, and
Yeah, she was going to go put a deposit on the house.
yeah, the mother,
and her mother was with her.
That's right, and said she was going to help her out with some money, but it was a lot more than she thought it was going to be.
Oh, okay, so what was the mother idea? She was just there to help her, or who's buying the house? The girl is buying the house, and her mother's with her, right?
Yeah, so the mother just said she would help her out finding the deposit.
Oh, okay. And so who wrote the check?
Well, the mother did. This was the point. The mother gave her a check, and instead of being for £2,000 as she thought it was going to be, it was actually for 20 grand.
Well, if this is her relationship, usually mother and daughters are very close, and of course it could be a wish that she'd like it to be more, but then again, it can be a heads up. But you got to kind of wait and see what happens, because she hasn't bought the house yet, has she?
No.
Mm-hmm. So the idea is there. And it could be a wish on her part too, that she doesn't recognize, like, oh gee, it'd be nice if my mom gave me more money. But again, you got to talk with the person. See, it can go either way, or her mom is in her mind is wanting to do this for her daughter, so it can go either way. So you got to kind of talk to the people a little bit to see what's going on. But again, it's until that moment comes, it's free choice, isn't it? So that can change also. So the idea is there, but I don't know the situation between the people either. So that's a little different. But that's kind of the idea. So yeah, until until she's actually in there and doing it, because at the last moment, let's say her mother's going to do that. But at the last moment, she could change her mind and say, well, I don't want to do this. So the idea is there, and people, they wish and want for things. It's like, you know, it's like a neighbor can say to you, hey, neighbor, anytime you need help, just let me know, okay? And then when you do need help, you call your neighbor and he goes, oh, well, you know what? I'm busy right now. You know, I'm watching the football game. I just can't help. Maybe you can call Joe down the street. You see, again, it's like that, isn't it? So anything can happen. I don't know, because it's free will. So she'll have to wait and see, but maybe she'll be surprised and mom will do it for her. You'll tell us what's going to happen, right? When it happens, Peter, you'll tell us.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Thank you. Keep me posted, yes.
Keep you posted, yeah. Right, just one more. This one's back to me. A little bit uneasy about telling this one, if I'm honest. I hope it's not going to offend anybody, because that's not the intention. But I've got to tell it as it is. This was a dream I actually had, like all the others, so if you'll bear with me. Now, for some reason, I'd been invited to go to some sort of a meeting of the New You people. It was evidently in America. I seemed to be in a big hotel. And went into this hotel. I saw these people through a big doorway in what appeared to be a ballroom or some such. So I went in there, and there was about a dozen people, all apparently New You people. And they were some men and some women, and they were all immaculately dressed. The men were all in nice three-piece grey suits, quite modern looking. But the women had all sort of old-fashioned dresses, really beautiful dresses, all beautiful colours, but right down to the ground, sort of thing you see in all the Western films, that kind of sort of like 19th century kind of dresses. And they were beautiful women, and they all had dark hair, and I didn't recognise any of them as being people from the New You books. You weren't there, Dwayne, or anybody I recognised from the pictures on the books, so I don't know who they actually were. But anyway, the point is, I went in this room, and they just didn't want to know me at all. I mean, I felt like the spectre at the feast. They just sort of ignored me and turned their back on me, and then they all went out. But at the last minute, I was just about sort of wondering what to do, and the very last woman turned round and sort of laughing, in a pleasant way, laughing, sort of said, hello, Peter. And I realised then it was a woman that I used to work with about 40 or 50 years ago in an office. And she pulled up her skirt, only on one side, up to her knee, I hasten to add, revealing a white stocking. I don't have any significance of that at all, but and that was the end of it. But I woke up rather confused about all that.
Yes, it's all confusing, isn't it? So again, yeah, the hotel is a bigger building. It's got many floors. Usually they do, so it's different levels more so than a house. And the meeting is what it was. But when she pulled up her dress, okay, she's showing you something in the physical. Okay, so she had a white stocking on. Okay, so what she's wearing is something you might say pure. Okay, so because the foot represents the physical part of ourselves, and what you're seeing is the real side. So up to the knee, it's kind of like the physical part, especially the foot. And it's funny how it demonstrates itself like that. But look at, you will know best. In other words, you're there going to a New You meeting, and all of a sudden you see all these people immaculately dressed. Now, if you can remember how you were dressed or what your attitude was, and then all of a sudden they don't seem to notice you, okay? And then one lady does, etc. Somebody that you recognize. Just kind of look at the scene, how it is, and how your part in this is. And again, it's something that's demonstrated to you. What do you see from that? It's your view. What do you see from that? Without an attitude, what do you see?
Well, I wasn't really aware of what I was wearing, other than I didn't feel as though I was particularly dressed up. I felt I was probably my usual tatty clothes. I don't know, but which may have had a bearing on it. Sort of no riffraff kind of attitude. I don't know. Oh, felt a bit
Probably
cold.
something, yeah, something, there you go, something like that. In other words, you know, it's the appearance of things. And so again, this is you might say a formal occasion, all right? So, you know, just like when there are formal occasions, you've got to wear a tie or a suit or a tuxedo or something like that. You know, you might say you dress the part, etc. And these clothes are really attitudes, is what they are, you know. So again, showing the person if do they care about themselves, etc. So it's kind of like that, you know. It's like that in a way. Do people care about themselves? Do they care what they're doing? Do they know what they're seeing? So it's like the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. So at first, when people come into this, you know, they read the books, they do the new you, they get the knowledge, but they're really not set in it because it takes a while to do that. You know, it's just like when we're young and we first go to school. It takes a while to kind of get set into things, and then we decide, is this what we want to do? Or a new job or something like that. And many times we have a new job and it's really not what we want to do. And so again, everything is fine. It's a choice. So it's very subtle, and you decide. In other words, when you're having these experiences, again, it's a comparison. You decide how you want to be, all right? Because here's how it works. When you have a particular view, the wardrobe itself, wherever you're at, will all of a sudden appear and depict that position. Do you see? This is how it works. It's very interesting how it is. This is how the isness is, because we've been used to certain things with the personal self. And so in reality, everything is already available. You don't have to chase it or whatever. But in the meantime, we're still so much into the personal self. So we pick and choose things. We have attitudes, we have likes, we have dislikes, we have prejudices, we have happiness, we chase love. We mainly chase things is what we do. But in reality, we don't have to do that. It's so much better. So again, each person, so those people are deciding their position. They've decided it, they've demonstrated. You come in, this is something that you want to, it's showing that you want to be part of it, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of like being on a football team. Yeah, you want to go out there and play with the guys, but you got to put on the uniform, don't you? You can't just show up. It's like, where's your uniform? So you got to play the part, don't you? And realistically, play the part with your heart. So again, I'm not saying that you do or you don't. You decide. These experiences are comparisons for you to look at the personal self. Are you satisfied with the personal self? Is that okay with you? And you want to keep going with that? Because it's going to go just like it has before. See, this is where, you know, it's hard to talk to people for the most part, because they don't see themselves. They just see what they like or they don't like about their personal life. And then they just grow old and they forget they were here. Again, each life goes very fast. Look at how old you are now. I'm 71. It's a snap of the fingers, but it's about awareness now. It's not about ideas anymore. The ideas, we went through those stages. Now it's about awareness. What is the difference between ideas that we carry, especially about ourselves? The reality of what we've created here, this personal self, this is an idea, not a real person. It's like a puppet. It's a fabrication. And so how we relate to this thing, how do we relate to it? You know, so again, and you know, some people buy a car, they like their car more than they like anybody else. It's all about the car. And so again, we are awareness and going through these experiences. So all this objectivity is very, very important, because it helps you little at a time recognize the real you, but you decide if that's more important, or is these personal things more important. And even, you know, people having dream experiences, it's like your friend. Okay, well, what does that mean? See, they just want the meaning. They're not interested in becoming more aware. They just want the meaning. And so they'll get the meaning. She'll get her house. Maybe she'll get the 20,000 euro, whatever. Okay, fine. Then she'll just grow old in the house like she has before, and she'll have nothing. So we're in creation to, lucky you know now, to figure out who we really are. But again, most people, they don't take the time to do that. They just look for the knowledge, they chase ideas, and they end up with nothing. So these experiences are giving you objective views. So do you want a real position? Do you want to know a real position? Do you want a real purpose? You really have to ask yourself that. And also intent. Again, I will say this many times, the intent to recognize that is very important, because if all you do is recognize your surface world, then that's all you have. You have your cause and effect personal self growing old, and you'll watch it grow old, and you'll watch others grow old too. It'll be an objective experience. So as you see other people growing old in their attitudes, that's you, and that's all you got, and then you'll forget. So these are very good experiences. It's right in front of you, but you must decide how to see it and be it. Go ahead.
All right, okay then. That's given me some food for thought. Thanks very much once again.